Hello, I made it back for some more Firestorms. I had one that I didn't end up doing, but it was fine anyway. It didn't make any huge difference. Now, just for a little bit of disclosure, I did lose a couple sets of Nurgles in Tier 6 Firestorms. Those don't count towards these because they're Tier 5. First room is Ephialtes with some Dissipators and Entanglers. It's not really that bad of a room. In this case, my main guy had minus cap, so I definitely went for the Dissipators first. He can tank the room. It's not really a huge deal. You can see he's getting the remote reps there from the other two characters, and we're just going to hang around the cache. We don't want to be in that speed cloud if we can help it, and we want to take out the newts first. So we're going to shoot them down pretty quick. Pop the cat booster. Cat boosters and drones are both consumables. Feel free to consume them. And as you can see, there's two Dissipators left, and they're both going down, so we almost don't have to worry about newts already. There they go. They're gone. So after that, it's just cleaning up. Yes, you can kill the... and actually I have confusers. Sorry, there's no entanglers in this one. So I was bringing my drones back one at a time. Tier 5's drones aren't a huge deal, but they still make a difference if you can use them. If you can avoid losing them, all the better. But again, they're consumable. I think I'm going to switch over to faction drones, because faction drones you can actually use with a medium deviant for some time before you have to pull them back in. They might need repairs in between runs, but especially if I want to do tier 6s again, it's a tiny bit less DPS, 15% or so, but the amount of tank makes it very worth it to do. So taking out the biocache, grabbing the loot. I did 3 runs today. They all had pretty good loot overall. You can see I brought in a second drone because it was being shot. Drones add more damage. Use them if you can. So there's that. 30 million, not overly great for that one, but it is a start. Average should be about 50 for these rooms. However, there's a few things that can significantly increase that as well. So keep that in mind. Okay, so we are sitting on the gate. We're ready for the next room. I currently have my AB off, but I'll be putting that back on before I go through. Once in a while I forget, but you always want to have your AB on so you can coast as far as you need to, especially for some things like Charybdis or Overmind. Sometimes you might, or actually Leshix is probably the other big one. You want to coast into the Leshix and take out some of them and get as close as you can so they're not shooting you from further away. I did bring my drone out again to give it a little bit of repairs just in case they needed it. And then just last couple guys. Once we get that cleared out, we go to the next room. I had a doozy of sets of rooms today. So, this one. We had a Kiki Room. So I hadn't actually seen a Kiki Room in a while. I marked them up so you can kind of see what to start shooting first. There was no starving in here, so I didn't have to worry about that. But in a room like this, if there's 1 or 2 starvings, you can at least kill one of them just on your way to getting to the Kikis. So take out the starving if there is one. Then you want tangling, and then you want the rest of the Kikis. Ghosting are also a good option for these guys because they ruin your range a little bit. So we're going to kill the tangling first. I brought my drones out. Sometimes, they didn't really do it today, but sometimes the Kikis will switch to your drones. Now, you might be like, well, you don't want to lose your drones, but bro, no, they're consumable. Remember that. It's okay to lose your drones. And the thing about it is the Kikis can end up being quite a bit of ramp. I was fine. But had I not been quite prepared for it, had I not turned that second repper on, if there were more newts, whatever, then I would be hoping that they would switch to my drones. I bring my drones back in, but they would have reset their damage and they do less damage overall. In this case, I've turned off my second repper because I don't need it. There's only 4 Kikimoras left, 4 or 5. So it's just cleaning them up now. Don't need both reps going. I've got my remote reps going. Everything's fine. However, Kikis can be a dangerous room, but usually it's not as scary as some of the other ones. So I brought my drones in. Some of them were being shot. And now I don't need them to reset their damage, so there's no need for them to stay out and die for no reason. Have them die for a reason if you can. Again, if it's for no reason, that's still okay. But ideally not. You know, don't just go for getting them behind or some such thing. I don't say that with any kind of foreshadowing. What are you talking about? So we go grab the loot. Once in a while, I do forget the loot. I did the other day and then died afterwards, so it was sad, but it does happen. Again, 36 million, but we got a Veli's blueprint in there as well. I haven't checked to see what those are worth lately, to be fair. Let's go. Take a quick look while I'm at it. All regions. Veli Supra. Blueprint. Alright, so those look like they are anywhere between 11 and, well, 11 million in Gina. What are the other Velis? Velis... Nope, not coming to me. Okay, so the heavies are worth 30. Let's see what the lights are. Okay, so last room was a Benthic. I hate Benthics. So the super titles are the least valuable ones. The heavy and lights are worth 25, 30 million each. So for this, you definitely want to hit the snare casters first. I've set my 2 alts to orbit the Benthic at 1,000 meters. This guy's going to start heading towards the cache if he can get it. If not, it's okay. You can come back towards it. It is nice to get it on the way there if possible, but it should not be a huge priority unless you can do it. Like, if you have concerns, don't be grabbing the cache first. 102 million, that made up for the other 2 rooms that got 30 million each. So now we're at 160, not counting any blueprints we might have gotten. But you can see he's switching targets. Now again, if you haven't seen it before, the nice thing about him switching targets is he does it fairly slowly. So you have time to see which character he's going to go after and adjust them. You don't want them flying at 1,000 orbit around him because they're going to get shot at and take quite a bit of damage if they're flying straight at him. If they're kind of orbiting him already, well, you can kind of keep them orbiting. I like to manually pilot those guys. The other option is you can try to keep them at about a 15 range and hit them with a different ammo until he switches again, and you have somebody who's closer in range who can just kind of run around a bit. He is mostly just a time sink, and he's not too bad to do. So you're just waiting for him to die at that point. Mind the boundary, of course. Don't let your drones die. And the important part, which again, not foreshadowing for something later or anything like that, is when he dies, you want all of your guys to start heading back out of the area. Now, I popped my drones at a bad time there. They took a little bit of damage from the boundary, but I'm sending them after the plate forgers just to get those out of the way. That reminds me, I remember 3 things dying, and I couldn't remember if I killed them or if they boundaried or something. It wasn't this room, though. It was one of the later ones. Actually interested to see myself what happens in my own damn video. Okay, Benthic's almost dead. Start heading towards the gate. Regroup so that nobody flies out that boundary, because it does not take very long for you to die at that point. So we're sitting pretty good. We're approaching the gate. Don't have to worry about reps. We're just coasting along. We still have a solid 5 minutes and 15 seconds or 6 minutes and 15 seconds. We've got a lot of time there. That was 6 minutes and 15 seconds. This one was 14. And we are done that site. Nice and easy. Smooth sailing. Wish I could say the rest for the rest of them, but you'll see those soon enough, I'm sure. And the estimated value, I'll have the actual one for you after. I have to just take my 7 things off this. Was that 160 something million, and that was that. Enjoy.